First tonight, the Wheatbelt family taking the state government to court in a stolen generation test case. Sylvia and Donald Collard and 7 of their children are hoping for both compensation and greater recognition of the continuing impact on families like theirs, split apart by past government policies. Their fight for justice follows a landmark ruling in South Australia where an Aboriginal man was awarded more than $500,000 for being removed from his family. But the Collards case faces some significant challenges. Claire Moody has the story.
GLENYS Collard is on a familiar pilgrimage from the city to the Wheatbelt town of Cundinnon.
I was born here in this hospital. The children come back. Hey, finally got here.
She's headed home to visit her parents. And the Collards don't take a family get-together for granted.
Looking back in hindsight, I would have taken off with them and went bush. I really should have. Because it was... They should have never been taken.
GLENYS was one of 8 of the Collards' 14 children who the couple say were taken away. Today, the Noongar family, who've since reunited, have a test case in the Supreme Court against the state government.
Next Wednesday, Dad, is our second mediation. What is that, the 22nd?
Sylvia and Donald Collard were living in a bush camp and working as shearers on a wheatbelt farm when they say a welfare worker and a policeman visited in 1961.
Oh, they came and got them. They came and got them. They were coming for them to take them. And we had no say. If we'd have started arguing or rowing, we'd have went to jail.
The children were taken to Sister Kate's home in Perth. GLENYS Collard says that's where years of sexual abuse started. Many of the perpetrators, she says, were volunteers who offered to look after the children on weekends.
They were people who came and they used to line us up and say, oh, I will take that one and that one.
But the Collards' huge loss actually started years before GLENYS and the others were taken away. Another daughter, Ellen, disappeared when she was only a few months old after the couple entrusted her to a Wheatbelt hospital to be treated for gastro.
When we got in there, they said she's gone. We thought she died. Me and Sylvia went into a shock. We said, what, died? She said, oh no, we fostered her out. You know, and we just about collapsed on the floor there when they said that. I never thought they could ever do that.
Ellen had been taken to live with a white family in Perth.
Why was it me? Didn't they like me? Was I broken? Was there something wrong with me? And all them years of feeling that, it was nothing like that at all. So, as you can see, it's very, very emotional for me. Extremely emotional.
Today, the Collards are still haunted by the memories of visiting their children at Sister Kate's and having to leave them behind.
We'd start crying too, you know, and we'd have to leave quickly because they'd ring the police. They'd ring the police. If we didn't go, they were going to ring the police, so every time.
And several efforts to get the children back to live with them in the Wheatbelt were futile.
Well, I couldn't qualify for a house. The simple reason was I was classified as flora and fauna because I wasn't a black man and I wasn't a white man.
The tragedy continued. 2 of their sons, taken to Sister Kate's, later died in car accidents.
The 2 eldest boys are missing. And that's the saddest part.
Back in the city, the Collards' legal action in the Supreme Court has been described as a test case.
It's very, very significant in the sense that this is unfinished business. It has to be resolved. It's really unfair and not very moralistic that this has been allowed to continue for a number of generations.
The case was partly prompted by the state government's redress scheme that offered ex gratia payments to any West Australian abused or neglected in state care.
Bruce, how are you feeling? Yeah, really good.
But the payments being offered were a tiny fraction of that awarded in a landmark ruling in South Australia in 2007, when the late Bruce Trevorrow was awarded $775,000 for being taken from his family as a baby.
As a result, the ALS really didn't know how they could advise their clients in respect of that. So we agreed that we would both look together at a process which could bring some better clarity to that situation.
Perth firm Lavin Legal took on the difficult case on a pro bono basis.
No two cases are the same. There's not a uniformity that arises. There's no common or absolute principles that you take from the Trevorrow case or any of those that went previously which were unsuccessful.
Whether the Collard case gets settled out of court or goes to trial next year, the Aboriginal Legal Service says more litigation isn't the answer for the stolen generation. It's calling on the state and Commonwealth Government to fund a full package of compensation and care for affected families.
We don't want to pursue them going through arduous, long legal battles. We would rather this country have the moral fabric to stand up and right this wrong, and that's what I think is really important.
The Attorney-General Michael Mission wouldn't comment on the Collards case because it's in mediation. However, the Uniting Church, which ran Sister Kate's, issued a statement saying it's apologised to children in its institutions who experienced neglect or physical or sexual abuse perpetrated by staff who should have been trustworthy.
Teach them how to live, they said, humiliated them instead.
Meanwhile, Glenys Collard's poor health costs money to treat. She survives on medication and morphine patches to treat the physical and mental illness she attributes to years of abuse.
And not once raped. Raped over and over and over. So, you know, the audience needs to understand. You want me to put a figure on that? There are no figures to put on it.
Decades after their children were taken, Sylvia and Donald Collard still don't understand. They hope the case brings answers.
We never neglected our kids. They were never neglected. They were all... We loved our kids. We still love them. And more than anything else.
And they want to die knowing that their children and their children's children are being looked after.
So I'll never get back what I lost. I'll never, ever get back my boys what... You know, when they was taken to the home and all like that, and then getting killed on their way coming home. I'll never ever get them back, but I want something done for the rest of my family. They never should have been taken. Their hearts were broken and so was ours.
Claire Moody reporting there.